Just because you have lost with your knees 2, 3, 4, 5 times. I probably lost with my knees 20 times before I had my first win. Now I've completely worked my way out of that. I'm going to show you the theory of how. Start here. Do 25 reps. The farther you stand, the tougher it is. No cheating. Don't bend your knees. We're actually starting below the knees. Closer you stand, easier it is. Now every one of the 8 steps that I do has troubleshooting. An example is this tibialis bar. So even people who aren't strong enough through the tibialis to walk, even people on walkers, might be able to do a pound or 2 on the tibialis bar and therefore get this same training. Now if we look at that position, okay, we're getting stronger below the knee. All we do in the next step is flip that around to the other side. The very exact opposite. Brings us to a second teaching point. When something's easy for 25 reps on 2 legs, boom, we can make more gains on 1 leg. And if one side is weaker than the other, you start on the weak side, match it on the strong, and then do an additional one on the weak so you catch up fast. So all we've done so far is work on that ankle mobility and strength on either side, and that brings us to our bridge step. So you want to do knee over toe exercises? Don't start doing knee over toe exercises. Start by seeing what you can go without any pain at all, and from there, do your calf raises. Knee over toe at the top, knee over toe at the bottom. Just by progressing that to 25 straight reps, 1 side at a time, full ankle mobility, glute locks so the weight is on here. You can see, if I could only do this, I could play sports the rest of my life without pain. Now, things can get more extreme, and there's different effects of doing something for high reps body weight for healing versus for lower reps adding load. Even after 0 and advanced 0, I still believe in doing both. So in 0, we do 3 basic body weight leg days. In advanced 0, we do 2 different leg days. 1 loaded, 1 body weight. Now, the better we get at that, what just happened? Now you can handle this position. Now we can get into this category of reverse step-ups, that's a whole nother subject in itself. But the point is, by handling this without any risk, so we're not even just trying to, no, we're just, what level can you hold and do your entire set of 25? And you gradually start to feel the muscles working, and your tendons gradually begin to heal. Then you can get into knee over toe exercises in the top, and my personal favorite, notice the ATG split squat. No knees over toes, no knees over toes, no knees over toes. It only gets knees over toes in the bottom position. And yes, the first thing is lifting your heel to whatever amount of coverage you can get without pain. The back knee, notice, is not touching the floor. So I think that number 1, I think it gives our knees more freedom of movement to open up those hip flexors. I also think it starts in balancing out the number 1 factor of back pain. What's like the number 1 deviation of just modern life? We end up so much like this, and these hip flexors get so shortened. So by letting those back hip flexors stretch, but they're under tension, you're working. You're not just relaxing that knee, you're getting stronger through a stretched position. So you see how we float up from the body, from the ankle to the gradually to the knee, to then getting into the knee in that bottom position, and that's how eventually squats become pain-free. So squats are actually never mandatory in the entire ATG system. The reverse step-up and the ATG split squat, mastering that bottom range and top range and mastering the ankles beneath it, that is the part that's mandatory. Then we come on up through the hamstring, which starts with just building time under tension in a lengthening manner. But this progresses, as annoying as it is, to things like Nordics. But I have all kinds of tricks to help you get into those. So there's also a levels factor. What if you've done the Nordic in your life 6 times? What if you did it once a week, gently, but for the next 10 years? So not only does the flow go in a way that you can get out of pain fast, but you also can just put in money in the bank for protection, not from my words, from the words of physiotherapists and doctors, something like a Nordic, where the stronger you get, literally the more protected your ACL gets, stuff like that. So there's also that long-term approach. Now that's all good. The finishing touch is then to actually get those hip flexors strong, because now when our leg can put out more force and it feels even lighter to pick up, then when we run, we're not clopping around. So imagine running without hip flexors. You'd be clopping around so much, it would put undue stress over the course of a game, a season, a career. So that's just a natural finishing touch, is then to also we're gonna get all this stuff stronger. We're gonna get the muscles that pick up the leg stronger, and then we wanna stretch them. And that's kind of the final concept, is that we get into this couch stretch position super gently, but then we're actually trying to contract in that position, because that's not gonna transition all the way. And I wouldn't recommend this, on something so hard, I would recommend really thick padding. But the point is now when you take a stretch like that, but now look, I'm strong in that position. See there? So that's actually my muscles. There's zero joint pain. So that again kind of shows the levels, but things don't get more complex. What did I just do there? I actually didn't need any equipment. And I don't ever recommend it on concrete. I only recommend it with thick padding. I just didn't want to mess with the flow of the video, and I didn't think to have a pad next to me when I shot this. That's honestly it. So I always train them with thick padding. So with every one of these steps, the only way you mess up is by working through any pain or discomfort, because all 8 steps troubleshoot. All 8 steps have levels and techniques where we can adjust and get you into pain-free gain. So even if you've lost with your knees 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, 30, 40 times, I still know for a fact that if you can even move, if you can even walk around, maybe if you can't even walk around, you actually can improve.